The American lawn, though it may seem as just lush green grass, it is actually far from that. The grass we see on campus, at our homes, and everywhere in between turns out is very unhealthy for both yourself and the environment. Every day we see the green grass and don't really think much about it. But turns out that it has extreme environmental impacts that are both detrimental to industrial ecosystems. Our lawns are green because of the additives we put to it, the pesticides or the fertilizers. And we don't really think much about it, but it turns out that there are high levels of both nitrogen and phosphorus within these additives that eventually run downstream and into our creeks, rivers, lakes, and eventually into the ocean. These high levels of potentially toxic chemicals have made their way into the Gulf of Mexico. Both nitrogen and phosphorus have created algae blooms along the coast of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama that have created a hypoxic zone, which is an area of low oxygen in which no biotic life is able to survive. These algae blooms are the cause of this because as these algae blooms decay, they soak up the oxygen inside the Gulf of Mexico, forcing this, quote, dead zone to occur, which has eventually become the size of New Jersey, which is completely absurd. This is not the only issue with the American lawn. 17 million gallons of gas are spilled every year because of poor use in pouring gasoline into yard care equipment. On top of that, 12% of all waste in landfills is from a yard. Every day we take for granted the great green grass we have, and yet it's so detrimental to our environment, which becomes, in theory, detrimental to us. As a solution, the everyday American mostly uses a common grass known as Kentucky bluegrass. The Kentucky bluegrass needs seasonal fertilizers and pesticides, continually needs to be mowed year-round, and takes extreme amounts of water to maintain its lush green grass appearance. As a potential solution to this issue is a policy to be put in place that protects the environment by forcing homeowners to strictly use native grasses to the area. By doing so, these native grasses need far less additives to maintain their appearance, need far less water, and need to be mowed much less regularly than the Kentucky bluegrass. By doing so, we will save the environment in which we will be saving ourselves.